Hitting your 30s can come with some upgrades to your income. As you move from an entry-level position in your career to something bringing in the beacon, it brings with it a new financial temptation. Without a second thought, you might start taking an annual overseas holiday, buy a new home, and upgrade to a lush car. Before you know it, you might feel overwhelmed with financial pressure and be wondering where your larger salary has gone. Before this happens to you, let's tackle this head on and make sure you don't fall into these 10 traps to avoid in your 30s. If you want to become financially sound, don't forget to like and subscribe so that we can keep you updated with the latest inspiring content. Welcome to Billionaire Mindset YouTube channel, the place where you learn to be rich and stay rich. If you are not subscribed yet, you are missing out. Number 1. The unaffordable partner. Don't get suckered into funding your partner's lifestyle just so you can feel like a good or supportive partner. In the end, this will sink both of you. While spoiling your partner is totally part of romance, you shouldn't be spending every waking hour working so that your partner can buy new shoes. It's important that at this stage of your life, you and your partner share a financial vision. This is the only way you can advance a future together that doesn't involve working non-stop and never getting anywhere. Number 2. Trying to match your friends' spending at social situations. It's easy to get swept in a social occasion, and before you know it, you have bought several bottles of the most expensive champagne for the table. While this is a great gesture, it's not the only way to win friends and influence people. Those days are over, and those people won't stick around when you bankrupt yourself after a few weekends hanging out with them. Be realistic with your income. Having fun is important. Give yourself a social budget that suits your income and enjoy it and stick to it. You don't have to one-up real friends, and if you can't afford to go out every weekend, then simply don't. Find a more affordable fun. Number 3. Thinking that a luxury life equals success. When you hit that higher paycheck, there is an immediate pressure to start living the lifestyle. But to have a billionaire mindset, we know that outward appearance of luxury don't always equate to real success. And while we love nice things, securing real wealth comes first in our priority list. Don't fall into the trap of creating a temporary luxury lifestyle with money that you can't keep up with. It will end up costing you long-term financial freedom. Number 4. Putting your kids' immediate needs before financial security. Your kids are always going to want or need something. A new bike, ballet lesson, and cool shoes like their friends at school. And there are some things you can afford and others you can't. That doesn't mean the asking will stop. If you have kids, you will have to grow a thick skin to nagging and become more familiar with the word no than succumbing to the pressure. It's not that all parents don't want to give their kids all these things. It's just that it won't help you as a family in the long run if that means you can't afford to take time off. It could mean you never save an emergency fund for medical care or turn you into a ball of stress when you are around your kids because you are in so much debt. Long-term financial security will carve out a far happier childhood for your child than a new Xbox will. Knowing their home, schooling, and basic needs are not a worry and their parents are happy is what really matters. All the rest is just ornamental. Number 5. Spending too much on wedding and holidays. If you choose to marry in your 30s, you might want to really splash out on the wedding because let's face it, you and your friends need a good party. It can feel good to throw a big blowout nuptial event, but be sure this one special day doesn't mean you are paying it off for the next 5 years. The same goes for holidays. As you earn more, you might feel that backpacking style holidays aren't for you, and your holidays budget might cost the same as car. It's great to take a break and spoil yourself, but be sure you don't get caught up in the hype and have to work like a dog rest of the year to pay for it. Meaning the holiday left you more stressed and tired than if you stayed home. Number 6. Not investing for retirement. The joy of compound interest are never clearer than if you get a full 30 years on a RA. If your 30s, that might seem like crazy delayed gratification, but when you get to your 50s and you can relax knowing you are covered, you will be glad. The sooner you start, the better. The younger you are, the smaller your monthly contribution can be, and the less it hurts over your lifetime. Most importantly is that you will invest far less and get a much bigger return. And the biggest benefit is all the monthly tax you can save in most countries. In the end, it's like saving money for later while also getting a little extra to spend right now. Win-win. Number 7. Failing to plan for emergencies or the future. At 30, it's normal to still feel like you are invincible, a little wiser, but still impervious to disaster. This is probably what makes it a great time to make calculated risk and try new things. But it shouldn't mean that you don't plan at all for all eventualities. Car breakdown, unforeseen medical expenses crop up, and kids get picked for a sport tour. Having no wiggle room in your cash flow to pay for these can mean major stress and perhaps taking on expensive debt you can't afford. Your 30s are the best time to take responsibility for life's unexpected nature and build a monthly saving toward an emergency fund. It's a good time to look at saving for other future needs. Do you want to have kids, or are your kids going to attend college? Perhaps you want to immigrate later in life or retire young. Whatever it is, best you start getting the funds together right now. Number 8. Buying above your means. In your 30s, there can be a lot of pressure to buy a house and drive a great car. And while these are great to have, these can be money trap. There can be an unspoken rule in your company that you need to upgrade your car to match your job title or buy a house in a certain price range to keep up with trends. But that's a ridiculous rule of measure. How much you earn and your personal financial responsibilities could be completely different to the guy in the next office. They could be single or not have kids. A car might make you feel slightly important for a minute, but if you can't really afford the repayment, that good feeling will fade fast. The same goes for a house that robs you entirely of your lifestyle because you can barely make the mortgage each month. Number 9. Failing to upgrade your career. After all that pushing in your 20s, it can feel like time for cruising in your new career. This is where you will be doing yourself a disservice. All those new 20-something will be hot on your trail soon. It's important to keep a slow and steady upward trajectory in your career. That doesn't mean you have to always feel under threat, but also don't feel that your earning is completely secure. Stay on top of development in your industry. Keep learning and upgrading your soft skill and remain actively seeking out ways to take on more responsibility at work that puts you in line for promotion. Number 10. Not setting any financial goal. Trap number 1 when it comes to money moves in your 30s is failure to make any. If you are going to go the distance and build wealth, you need a plan. Setting out a roadmap of a final goal as well as some shorter term goal is the first move. Then seeking advice from a professional on how to get there is critical to get accurate and reliable advice. This isn't how to bake a cake or a tap. This is your hard-earned money. It's a bit more of a disaster if it's a flop.